Some people come to Rhodes for the casually breathtaking beaches. Why casually? Because this isn't even a beach. This is the island's port. If you arrive in Rhodes by ferry, this little port will be the first thing you'll see. And the water here is so clear that you will see people swimming and tanning right here next to the fancy yachts. So you can start off your Rhodes adventure with a quick refreshing dip. But where do you go next? Now, most people come to Rhodes Town for a day or two, and then go on to explore the village of Lindos and nearby islands. But in my experience, creating a short itinerary is often much more complicated than planning a whole week stay. So I thought I'd share a few ideas about spending a day or two in Rhodes Town. Quick disclaimer, I will be talking about Central Rhodes itself, not the village of Lindos on the other end of the island, because this location deserves its own video and definitely a dedicated visit. So, welcome to Rhodes, and let's go! So, my first sightseeing recommendation will probably be very counterintuitive. You are in Rhodes, the sun is shining and the sea is calling, but I suggest you head indoors, into a dark, air-conditioned building. This is a 9D theater, and it's a great place to learn about Rhodes in 30 minutes. Shows during the high season start from 2 p.m. and are a full 9D spectacle. You will be seated in a comfy chair with a seatbelt and riding on a digital chariot through ancient Rhodes, learning how the island has become what it is today. Rhodes has a fascinating history. It was once home to one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, the Colossus of Rhodes, and has been inhabited for over 4,000 years by various civilizations, including the Greeks, the Romans, the Byzantines, and Ottomans. Sure, you can read up on the island before your trip, which is absolutely recommended, but this 9D museum is a fun alternative. But here's one thing I'm certain of. If you do learn about the island before you start exploring it, you will be walking down these streets with a very different feeling. Once you're out of the theater, I suggest you hop on this little train. Yes, you will look like a total tourist, but you will get to see quite a bit of Rhodes with a breeze in your face and plenty of photo-video taking opportunities. The train will take you around Central Rhodes, and you can note down a few places that you may want to pay a longer visit to later. The train ride takes under 50 minutes and costs around 10 euros. Once you hop off the train, you may want to take a stroll through the old town. It's an easy and relaxing way to get introduced to Rhodes and its residents, and remember everything you've learned about the island in the 9D theater. While here, don't miss walking down the Street of the Knights, one of the best preserved medieval streets in Europe. As you are exploring the old town, I suggest you visit this little hidden cafe called Socratous Garden. It's a nice getaway from the busy street, there is great food to enjoy and lots of slow walking cats to keep you company. Here you can have a delicious Greek salad, which pairs perfectly with a Freddo espresso, a signature iced coffee in Greece. One of the main attractions in Rhodes is the Palace of the Grand Master. This palace has really been through a lot. It was a Byzantine fortress in the 7th century, a headquarters for the Knights of St. John, an Ottoman prison, and it was even planned to be a retreat for Mussolini. Today the castle is a museum and a UNESCO heritage site. If you want to see what castle interior design looked like in the old days, you can buy a visit ticket or a guided tour. But even taking a walk along the castle walls is quite an experience all in itself. With just a touch of imagination, it all comes to life right in front of your eyes. Now, museums are not everyone's cup of tea, but please bear with me for a second. This is the smallest and one of the most interesting museums I've ever been to. It's called Rhodes Museum of Ancient Greek Technology by Kotsanas, and there will be a link to the museum in the description to this video. It's a very small museum hidden in Rhodes Old Town, right next to the port. If you are worried about being inside on a sunny day, you shouldn't be. The whole guided tour takes about 20 minutes, but these 20 minutes are the ones you will remember. I don't want to give away too much, but you will see the world's first television, an ancient compass, a contraption that turns water into wine, and even the first ever real messenger. Now, some Google Map reviews of the museum say that it's way too small for the price. The ticket is 5 euros, and if you want a guided tour, a private guided tour, this will cost you 10 euros. And it's probably a valid point if you're looking for a real museum tour. But the amount of information you get in such a short time really made it worth it for me. Next up, check out the Rhodes Clock Tower. It's the highest point of Rhodes Old Town and really beautiful building, taking you up to a viewing platform via some pretty rickety steps. The ticket only costs €5 and includes a free drink at the rooftop bar, which I suggest you take after and not before you climb the 53 winding steps to the top of the tower. At this point, your first day of sightseeing in Rhodes may start to feel tiring. A great way to top it all off would be a walk on the beach. A walk from the Rhodes Tower to the town beach will take around 30 minutes, but it's a relaxing walk that will take you through the streets of Old Town and past small cafes and restaurants. And as you make your way to the beach, you may be able to find that perfect spot for dinner. The city beach in Rhodes is a great place to see the sun set right into the sea and watch airplanes fly by. And this could easily wrap up your full day in Rhodes. But let's say you still have some time the next day and are looking for an adventure that's a little bit different. Then you can take a quick submarine tour of Rhodes and its harbor. These miniature submarines leave daily from Rhodes Pier. Now, don't get too excited about the word submarine. These are actually small boats with an underwater window section. The trip itself takes under an hour, and you get to learn a bit about the island over the loudspeaker. Finally, you arrive at one spot where you will be asked to head to the section of the boat that is below water, take a seat, and do your best to fight getting claustrophobic. The space on the boat is tight, but the view is great. You get to see a lot of Aegean fish up close, and there is even a miniature underwater show. But book this trip with caution. I had no idea I had a fear or at least a deep discomfort for tight underwater spaces until I joined this tour. From Rhodes, you can also visit one of the most colorful islands in Greece, Simi Island. Boats leave daily around 8 a.m. and the trip takes around 1 hour. It's a fun day trip, and compared to Rhodes, Simi is smaller and quieter, letting you see a different style of island life in Greece. You can also visit the Turkish town of Fethiye. In fact, quite a few people come to Rhodes from Fethiye, as there are regular weekend boats, which take around 2 hours, but can get a bit bumpy. Fethiye is known for stunning Aegean beaches, beautiful forested mountains, and a generally laid-back vibe. As always, I will add Google Map links to all the locations mentioned in this video. Thank you again for watching, and I hope to see you on the next trip, with a latte, of course. Have a great day.